welcome to another episode of the Elevated Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Fouts, owner of Elevated Beauty Aesthetics, located in Sierra Vista, Arizona. And today we are going to be talking about CIT, collagen induction therapy, also known as microneedling. We're going to talk all about the science behind how it works, what the procedure is like, and how I personally perform the treatment. So if you're interested, then just keep on listening. Okay, so I've been trained in microneedling since 2016. I was trained through Dr. Lance Sutterfield, the writer, I guess you would say the author of the Conscious Guide to Needling. Dr. Lance Sutterfield was one of the pioneers in microneedling. So if you are interested in gathering some information and education on this treatment, I would definitely recommend that you take the online course, or at the very least purchase the book, The Conscious Guide to Needling by Dr. Lance Sutterfield. I still refer to that book. I still have it on my desk. It really outlines everything. And since the original publishing date, there has been a revision in the book with newer scientific data and things like that. So, my microneedling treatment, collagen induction therapy, I personally perform this treatment. And I'm going to give you guys everything. You know, most estheticians are who listen to this podcast, so I'm going to give you guys the rundown of everything. So I have this service on my menu for $175. It might be different depending on the area that you're in. In Tucson, I know that they do this treatment for $200. I'm in Sierra Vista, which is a bit of a smaller town, so of course things are going to be a little bit cheaper here. And also, just how my business model is, I like to keep things affordable. So that doesn't mean that you get less because of my price point. I actually include an aftercare kit in my service, which is contains 3 travel size products from Glymed Plus. It contains the Mega Purifying Cleanser, the Hydro Gel, and the Rosacea Relief Moisturizer. So everybody always gets sent home with the aftercare kit after receiving a microneedling treatment. And then I also include LED light therapy at the end of the service to reduce any redness. So you really get the full works in this. So this treatment lasts about, I would say, how long is it? It's like an hour or so. So I use the Herbal Skin Solutions CIT pen. There are so many different pens on the market. This is the one that works for me and that I decided to bring into my business. So I use the Herbal Skin Solutions pen, and I personally only introduce hyaluronic acid in treatment. So while I am using the pen, that's the only infusion serum that I use is hyaluronic acid. And the reason is because hyaluronic acid is naturally occurring to your skin. There's no chance of having any allergic reaction or granulomas. When you start to introduce other active ingredients, there's an increased risk for that. So that is how I operate. I know other people do things differently. I'm just letting you know how I do it. So I use the, I think it's low molecular weight. I'm going to have to pause this and look because I don't want to misspeak. Okay, sorry. It is high molecular weight hyaluronic acid serum, also from Herbal Skin Solutions. I use this as my glide. I know sometimes people use saline, but I find that, and it's actually proven in studies, when you use hyaluronic acid over saline, you have an increased rate of healing. So that's why I like to use the high molecular weight hyaluronic acid serum. All hyaluronic acid serums are not created equal. It is preferred that you use one that is high molecular weight. So I always numb the skin before, and I use the Zanza lidocaine cream also from Herbal Skin Solutions. They retail that. So I let that sit on the skin and numb them up, and then we use that hyaluronic acid serum and we microneedle. I don't go past 0.6 millimeters personally. Collagen doesn't produce past 0.6 millimeters in the skin. And anything past that, it would be considered medical needling, really. So I don't like to do that. So that's what we do here. And then, of course, I finish up with usually like the Daily Live Serum and then the amino acid treatment cream from Glymed Plus. I don't use SPF immediately after. That's how I was taught. You just want to guard yourself for the rest of the day after receiving that treatment. You don't want to allow that SPF to kind of clog the pores at all or potentially create any kind of reaction. So that's just what I do. So the theory behind collagen induction therapy, what happens is, okay, first of all, so it's a minimally invasive skin revisional treatment. So what it does is it creates cellular proliferation, which is creation of new skin cells. So what we do is we create micro injuries in the skin through these little puncture holes, these little needles. So we're creating these micro injuries, and what it's doing is it is triggering the keratinocyte, which is the head cell, to tell the other cells what to do, to promote cellular proliferation, of course, to promote new like fibroblast, collagen, elastin fibers. It helps, obviously, when you're inducing collagen, it helps with fine lines and wrinkles, acne scarring. Once you turn 25, your collagen goes dormant. You produce 1% less each year. So doing this treatment like once a year is going to help make sure that your collagen is not dormant, that you are still promoting new collagen production in your skin as you age so that you can age gracefully. So it helps with fine lines, wrinkles, of course, like that. It helps increase the volume of your skin because as we do age, we lose collagen. Our skin may become a little bit more hollow looking due to that. So this helps to counteract that. And then it also helps with acne scarring. It helps with not only like textured acne scarring, but with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation as well, because we're triggering all cellular function. So it helps with any type of hyperpigmentation. And I always require that people are using tyrosinase inhibitors 4 to 6 weeks prior to the service. So yeah, this just gives us a better chance that we don't hyperpigment post-treatment, and yeah, it just preps you for it. So collagen induction therapy, CIT, microneedling, it's primarily used for aging skin and for scarring. So fine lines, wrinkles, loss of volume, scarring. I do like to personally use it with hyperpigmentation mixed in with chemical peels, just because I feel like we're getting a better cellular response whenever we're triggering, this micro injury. So I like to do at least one microneedling treatment and then mix in chemical peels as well. Not all the time. It just really depends on the person. So yeah, that's how I microneedle. Of course, there are plenty types of contraindications for microneedling. You don't want to do it on anyone that has any open sores or wounds on their skin, anyone with cystic nodular acne, inflammatory acne rather. You don't want to perform this treatment on anyone that has pustular rosacea. According to Dr. Lance Satterfield's book, you can do it on vascular rosacea, but it has to be managed. It has to be, managed properly and done under a very strict eye. You don't want to do it on anyone that has that's on anticoagulant medication. You need to be discontinuing that for a certain time period before you receive the treatment. in Dr. Lance Satterfield's book, there's a whole page dedicated to contraindications. You don't want to do it on anyone who has obviously HIV/AIDS, any active cold sores, anyone with herpes simplex that's got that going on actively. If you do have herpes simplex, you can still receive a microneedling treatment, but you need to be taking an antiviral, which I believe you can only get prescribed by your doctor. So that's what you would need to do in order to prep for the treatment. So let's see what else. I don't have my book in front of, or my book or my intake form in front of me. But those are the main things. Obviously, you can't do it on anyone with Accutane. Anyone that's using Accutane, you can't really do anything to their skin besides really hydrating and, anti-inflammatory methods. But yeah, it's a safe treatment for most people. You just have to take precautions and prep your skin before the treatment by discontinuing certain ingredients. About 3 to 5 days prior to the treatment is what my intake form, my pre and post care instructions instruct, whatever, you get the picture. So yeah, I think it's pretty simple to understand. It works by creating this injury which promotes a cellular response in the skin to promote new. So that's kind of how I explain it to my clients a bit. I go a little bit more in depth than that, especially depending on what their concern is. But I love this treatment. I will do this until I stop practicing aesthetics. I would love to bring on some other methods as well, but for right now, microneedling and chemical peels produce amazing results. And if you want to boost your treatments with a new modality, definitely consider microneedling. Just make sure that you have the proper education and you feel confident before you start providing the service, because there are plenty of things that can go wrong. So you want to make sure that you're educated and that you know how to navigate any potential side effects with your client if they happen to experience that, which is why I do a consult before the appointment is even booked. I require a consult, even if it's formal or informal. If I have an existing client that's interested in it, I kind of already know what's going on, and so I just talk to them for a bit. But if it's a new client, I actually have them schedule a consult for the treatment. And then I have a informed consent that they initial and sign. That's very important when you're doing any type of revisional treatments like that you have informed consents, that way that they know what potential side effects are. And then I have pre and post care instructions that I send them home with before they even receive the treatment. That way they know how to prep for their treatment before they even come in. So there are some side effects that clients need to know about, the potential things that could happen, which can be scary on an informed consent if you see this could potentially result in whatever. But I always let my clients know I've actually never had any side effects happen from this treatment. I always let them know that if there's anything that they have questions about, please just ask me. And most, if not all, of the side effects on the informed consent are to happen. They happen because you didn't follow your pre or post care. So really that's all it is. And that kind of puts people at ease whenever they read those potential side effects, like, oh my God. Yeah, it's just if you don't follow the instructions that are lined out. So it's really important that if you offer this treatment, that you have a really in-depth intake and you have really in-depth instructions and informed consent that is filled out. There's way too many times that I find people are not having consent forms filled out, and that is going to come back to bite you in the butt eventually. So please, before you operate, just make sure you have all of your consents ready to go and that you make that a common practice in your business. And then to boost the results for microneedling treatments, this is kind of a controversial thing in the aesthetic community, and it's kind of like, I don't know if antiquated is the wrong word. It's kind of like an old ideal, and it's really kind of like a marketing thing too. Using derma rollers at home, quality derma rollers, although, will really boost your client's results because they're keeping that cellular response active. It's just going to give them way, way, way better results. So, look into it. In Dr. Lance Satterfield's book, he does go into the theory behind derma rollers, how they actually work. There is this idea that derma rollers penetrate the skin at an angle and that it creates a larger hole in the skin than it does with, a vertical pin or a vertical stamping pin. Really, it's not causing a level of damage that they make it out to be. And really, the needles that are puncturing the skin are at the vertical angle of the roller. They're not puncturing at the side. If they were, you would be having to put an immense amount of pressure on there. To me, it's a way of brands trying to say, this is wrong, only do what we sell. So there is a brand that I'm in love with that I'm bringing on very soon. They have a high quality gold derma roller at 0.2 millimeters that I'm going to be bringing on soon for retail to my clients to help boost the effectiveness of their microneedling treatments. Not only that, if they don't want to get a microneedling treatment, but they still want to have some type of cellular response. And again, collagen forms at 0.6 millimeters in the skin and no deeper than that. If your derma roller is only going in at 0.2 millimeters, you're not getting that full level of collagen production that you could, but you're still getting something. So it's a good place to start, especially if you're nervous about that. And it really doesn't hurt at all. I did 0.5 millimeters on my microneedling pin without numbing cream, and it didn't hurt. But that's another thing to consider if you do have this treatment. Even if you're kind of skeptical about it, something that maybe you can look more into and see new scientific research that's done into derma rollers. Of course, we have titanium and then stainless steel. You want to go for the stainless steel ones because the titanium needles are lower quality. You have a higher chance of having an allergic reaction to it. And then also the needles have a more potential to bend. So if you are selling a derma roller to your clients, you definitely need to give them proper instructions on how to sanitize the roller and different things like that. Let them know that they can't just get one from Target and it be the same quality as, a quote-unquote professional one. So that's just another viewpoint, another option to help boost this treatment for your guest. And I really I'm not going to say any brands here, but there is a brand that has a stamping method. Yeah, it has great results. Microneedling, traditional microneedling pins also have equal results. And of course, that brand uses a strategy where they try to compare damage from a microneedling pin to damage from a stamping pin. That's not the best way to market yourself. Rather, you should just market yourself on what your pin does instead of what other, brands do. That's why I really don't. Anyways. A microneedling pin that you glide across the skin, no, it's not tearing the skin, it's not dragging. You would have to be going super freaking slow, and they don't even have a setting that slow for the needle to stay in the skin and drag it along and tear it. That's just stupid. It's not damaging the skin in any way. So, whether you're using one that stamps or using a traditional microneedling pin, they both work in similar ways. And also, if you kind of like a stamping pin, yeah, it's great, but if you kind of want to have that superficial idea where it's you're dragging across the skin, so it's dragging and tearing the skin. Well, if you have a stamping one, then wouldn't it be puncturing the same hole over and over and over again? No, they both work. It's just two different types of methods. You don't need to really tear down other people's ways of doing things just to try to make yours seem more appealing. They both work. Stamping or a regular pen, doesn't matter which one you use. They both produce results. And just like, a derma roller also produces results, You just have to use it correctly. That's what it all comes down to. It all comes down to education, scientific facts, using it correctly and properly. And everyone might not agree with that, but that's the research that I've done. I haven't been biased in any particular brand. I just like to see what scientific research and data has been published, and that's what I base my opinion off of. I'm not going to bash any brands here at all. Microneedling, CIT is CIT. It doesn't matter which way you go about it. Yes, a pen or a stamping pen is going to produce better results than a derma roller, but let's not discount the effects of a derma roller either. There are good ones and there are bad ones. Just like there's good quality skincare and then bad quality skincare, so to say. So yeah, that's how collagen induction therapy works. If anyone else has anything to add to this conversation, please comment on my post on Elevated Beauty Podcast. Let me know what you like to use whenever you are microneedling. I always like to hear different perspectives. Do you use something else besides hyaluronic acid? And has it given you better results? I know some people use Antage, which I actually have some of it. That was just given to me whenever I got my pen. But like I said, because of my education, I don't want to chance anything else besides hyaluronic acid infused into the skin during the creation of these micro injuries. But if anyone uses something else and has great results, I would love to hear your perspective on that and the science behind it. So we're always learning and evolving. I'd love to continue my education and see what other people are doing. So let me know, just comment below on the post. Yeah, I think that's about all I have to say on this topic. So as always, thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you next Monday, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for another episode.